What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today's scenario was a pretty popular suggestion. It's something that could have actually happened in the story, and it would have huge consequences. It's not a small change that'll just alter some arcs, it'll completely change the rest of the story, as well as the different characters involved in it. When Raditz came to Earth, he almost did just take Gohan and kidnap him. Had he not been killed, he probably would have followed through with it, but what if he just immediately left with Gohan? We'll be exploring that today. In this brand new series, what if Raditz kidnapped Gohan? We'll set a like goal of 5,000 likes for this part, and if we reach that, we'll continue this into a full story. Anyways, let's begin. Obviously everything with the story goes normally, up until when Raditz arrives, and even right after he leaves Kame House. He takes Gohan with him in order to encourage Kakarot to follow him, but as Raditz flies back to his spaceship, he gets a transmission on a scouter. Vegeta starts talking with him, wondering how the mission's going. Raditz gives him an update, and Vegeta hears that he's found some sort of hybrid Saiyan there. Nappa perks up when hearing this too, wondering if maybe there's potential for the Saiyan to grow into a powerful warrior. Vegeta is intrigued as well, and asks Raditz more about him. Well, the kid's young, and he doesn't even know how to fight yet apparently. And as for Kakarot, he seemed pretty weak as well, which makes Vegeta and Nappa laugh because coming from Raditz, that means he's really weak. His power level wasn't even 1,000, it was in 3 digits. And Raditz says to make things even worse, it seems his head was hit as a kid. He doesn't even know that he's a Saiyan. He seems way too kind-hearted to join them, and Raditz doesn't think that he'll actually join. And if they did forcibly take Kakarot away too, that's not going to help them at all. Even if Kakarot willingly joined, that probably wouldn't help much. But Raditz says he has a plan to lure Kakarot out. He'll make Kakarot kill some people here on this planet, and then make Kakarot loyal to them. But Vegeta says he has a better idea. If Raditz already has that hybrid Saiyan kid with him, why not just take him? Is he serious? This is just a kid, he can't even fight yet. His power level isn't even 1. But as Raditz scans Gohan's power level with his scouter, he realized that he was wrong. His power level's rising, briefly spiking only to go back down. And Vegeta gets the transmission as well. His power just spiked beyond 100. And Vegeta tells him to keep that scouter focused on the kid, and they keep monitoring it. There's some spikes in Gohan's power, and it definitely isn't an issue with the scouter because the scouter was perfectly fine before. But why is this kid displaying that power? Is it related to his emotions or something? And to think that his power is that high as a kid. So Vegeta tells him to change his plans. This is in order now, bringing that kid back to them. They don't need Kakarot anymore. Raditz probably doesn't even have a choice here, so he just listens to Vegeta, telling Gohan it looks like he's going to spend some time with his uncle for a little bit. Or indefinitely, he's not too sure. Not too long after, Goku and Piccolo arrive to where they saw Raditz heading to. They're in the middle of nowhere and they see a giant crater, and they can sense Raditz nearby. But then out of that crater, they see something fly out, and it's not Raditz, it's some sort of space pod, and Raditz is in it. And Goku looks terrified as he sees Raditz is in there with Gohan. Gohan even tries to break out, but Raditz grabs his tail, easily calming him down. Goku yells out telling Raditz they had a deal. Why is he leaving? Raditz says this wasn't his idea, there's just a change of plans that they need to follow. He's sure this isn't the last you'll see of Kakarot though. The ship rockets off, launching out into the atmosphere. Enraged, Goku powers up fully. Piccolo's even taken aback, and Goku uses all his energy to launch up there. He's not too good at flying right now, but maybe this will be enough, as he rockets towards the space pod to try and catch it. But the space pod keeps on speeding up, and eventually it's too far for Goku to catch. If Goku were faster and better at flying, maybe he could have done so, but it doesn't work here. He almost shot the ship down too, but that wouldn't have worked either because that would have hurt Gohan. And from that distance, he can't launch a blast precise enough to just knock out the ship and not destroy it. Goku falls back to the ground and lands, looking back up to see a glint in the sky, as the spaceship fully leaves Earth. Piccolo didn't expect that either. We now go into space, not far away from Earth. Raditz and Gohan begin their journey back to the Saiyans. Raditz is annoyed because now he's going to have to share the space pod with Gohan for a bit. But if it's enough for people to travel months at a time on, maybe this trip won't be too bad, just kind of cramped. He's a bit annoyed that he had to do this in general because now he has to babysit this kid. Gohan of course has no clue of what to do, and knows he needs to get back to Earth. But how? The people he's up against are too powerful. He's out in space. He doesn't know how to get back to his planet. But one thing does calm him down. The fact that he thinks Goku will save him. The last thing he saw before he left Earth was Goku trying to save him. And he knows for a fact that his father will come get him eventually. Raditz begins talking to Vegeta on the scouter again, saying they successfully left. And Vegeta is curious to see what will happen with this child. Maybe he truly does have some great potential. Maybe he could be the Super Saiyan. Of course, they're going to have to whip him in this shape though. But luckily, he's impressionable. Vegeta thinks he'll be a better fit for the Saiyans than Kakarot would have been. And now, they just need to plan what to do next with him. A few days have passed. Back on Earth, Bulma's already trying to develop some sort of spaceship for Goku. Both Goku and Chi-Chi have no idea of what to do, but Goku is willing to go out in space and find him, and Chi-Chi's up for Goku doing that. Whatever it takes for them to get Gohan back, they don't care. Well, can't they just use the Dragon Balls to bring Gohan back? No, actually not. They would have done that already, but there's a very simple explanation as to why they can't. Gohan has one of the Dragon Balls. It's on his hat. There are only 6 Dragon Balls on Earth right now. Goku also did have the idea of Kame just recreating the Dragon Balls. He did it when Shenron died before, and Kame definitely would help here, but there's a few issues with that. For one, if the Dragon Balls that are currently active become dormant, That creates two issues, because it means it's harder for them to track Gohan without it, and if Raditz is keen enough to pick up on the change in the Dragon Ball, it might bring him back to Earth to figure out what was on Gohan's head. Although that's very unlikely, but that could alert them of the Dragon Ball's existence, or maybe put the Saiyans on high alert in general. Very unlikely, but still a possibility. The other issue is a restriction that we're going to impose on this what if, and one that might actually happen too. Kame can upgrade the current Shenron, but that wouldn't make the Dragon Balls reappear on Earth. We actually saw this in Superhero. When Dende upgraded Shenron, the Dragon Balls didn't change their position, they still stayed with Bulma. So that wouldn't bring that other Dragon Ball back here to Earth. The other option is completely destroying Shenron and creating a new one, which is a little bit tough to do for Kame. The easiest option is just having Shenron summoned here, which obviously they can't do right now. They would have to destroy that dragon and then create a new one. Basically what happened in the King Piccolo saga. And they can't really get rid of the other Shenron, and Kame says there can't be two Shenrons existing at once. If he created another set of Dragon Balls, it would have to be a different dragon. Again, this is a restriction I'm imposing on the scenario for it to happen, but Kame's explanation is that he'd have to create a completely separate dragon, which doesn't seem like an issue at first, but then they realize that they won't be able to track the Dragon Balls from that dragon. Bulma would have to create a new dragon radar for that, because Kame theorized that this new dragon might have a different set of Dragon Balls, one that can't be tracked by old means. And that's a really big issue because while they would have a new set of Dragon Balls, they don't know how long it would take to track them down. Kame wouldn't even know where they'd land. If they found one quickly, sure, Bulma can create a new dragon radar, but how long would it take to find that first one, especially when they're searching the entire Earth and they don't even know how to look for them? So that's their predicament. Their current Shenron remains dormant, and if Kame made a new one, it could work, but it might take a while to find the Dragon Balls. So that leaves them with this option that they want to do now. One that they know will work. They could track Gohan right now because he has the Dragon Ball in his head. And after some brainstorming, they're able to figure out how Bulma could create a new ship. And it was actually by using Goku's old ship. Popo and Kame have helped out too by showing Kame's old ship to Bulma. In the time that's passed so far, they've been thinking through all their different options. This might actually work, but it's risky. Mainly because Raditz was already pretty powerful to begin with. Goku doesn't care though, he'll do anything to save Gohan here. Especially because the way Bulma built the ship, he might be able to train on it. He'll spend all his time traveling getting stronger. But somebody else intervenes telling him not to do it, and that's King Kai. Someone who nobody's ever heard about before. He explains who he is, and then what they're dealing with. They're dealing with the Saiyans who are way stronger than they assume. Raditz was actually pretty strong in comparison to them. But Raditz was the weakest of the Saiyans by a long shot. And not just that, there's the Frieza Force to deal with as well. When they encounter the Saiyans, they might encounter an entire army of space tyrants. People who are even stronger than the Saiyans, led by someone who's stronger than them. Like, unfathomably stronger. But King Kai says he has a plan. He'll help them out to stop the Saiyans. The Saiyans have been causing havoc around the galaxy, and he's heard good things about Goku from Kame. This way they help out each other. Goku will be able to grow stronger and defeat the Saiyans as well as retrieving his son. Well, this of course helps King Kai and the rest of the galaxy because by getting rid of the Saiyans, that will bring about some peace. The Frieza Force is still an issue, but it takes little steps. And King Kai invites Goku to train with him. Obviously, Goku jumps at the opportunity. But surprisingly enough, two other people come along. And King Kai's not too sure about having other people here, but sure. This is going to keep Earth safe, and it could have good consequences later down the line. The two people joining Goku are Krillin, and surprisingly enough, Piccolo. Krillin is Goku's best friend, and obviously he would want to help out here. He felt powerless against Raditz before, and this is a chance to prove himself. And as for Piccolo, he was also embarrassed by Raditz too. Plus, they kinda do want him to come along because they don't trust him being here on the planet alone. With two of the strongest warriors gone, including the one guy who's actually stronger than Piccolo, that gives him free reign to do whatever. There's also the fact that Piccolo doesn't want Goku growing too much beyond him. He needs to keep up too, so he wants to try this different training. Although, they can't head to Snake Way right away either. It's gonna take a while to cross, so they need to train to cross Snake Way before they actually try to cross it. So it looks like it's off to Kame's house. This all happened so quick that Yamcha, Ten, and Chaozu don't even hear until a while later. So right now they're doing everything in their power that they can. Goku, Piccolo, and Krillin are training, Bulma's working on building a ship for interstellar travel, and Kame contemplates what he should do. He could create another set of Dragon Balls in this time and try and find one, but he'd rather see how everyone else works this out. He does want to help, but as a god, he also can't just help whenever they need. It is for a noble cause, and he is glad to help them here. But he does prefer this, a test of their willpower and strength, instead of having him do all the work to create the new set of Dragon Balls, having everything handed to the humans. And, as Goku's teacher, that's also another aspect of why he prefers this method. He is too preoccupied training Goku to even create a new set of Dragon Balls, and then find said Dragon Balls. It's not like he has time to do both at once, and they prefer this. And this does lead to kind of a predicament for everybody. Goku knows he can't rush this. He wants to grow strong enough to actually do this, but it can't be sloppy. They have to make sure that they're going to succeed. It will take a while to retrieve Gohan. They need to make sure the ship works. It's going to take a while for that ship to travel, and before they even take that ship, they're going to need to train with King Kai enough to actually have a chance against the Saiyans. No matter what option they choose, they're going to have to wait. Goku only hopes that Gohan's doing okay, but King Kai is able to monitor the situation too. Seeing that he is alive and well, the Saiyans aren't planning to kill him or anything. They actually plan to raise him as their own essentially. And let's go over to Saiyans after a brief time skip. A few months pass, and Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz meet on a random base. Raditz wonders if Kakarot's ever going to find a way here to get them, but he doubts it. He probably is going to try anything he can to get Gohan back, but he tells the other two. Earth isn't advanced enough to even make travel for this, and even if they were, Kakarot's far too weak to fight them. Not that Vegeta and Nappa were even worried in the first place. But it seems like Raditz might be a little bit. Obviously, Gohan's not happy to meet Vegeta and Nappa, but they're happy to meet him, a hybrid Saiyan who possibly has great potential. He could be the Super Saiyan, and they want to see what he's capable of. Vegeta tells Gohan, fight him right now, give him what he's got, use all of his power at his disposal, and try to kill him too. You know what, as a little bit of motivation, he turns to Nappa and Raditz. He tells them if Gohan's able to spill a drop of blood from Vegeta, they're bringing him back home. What? That's ridiculous. Why would they bring him back after they just brought him here? But Vegeta tells him to calm down. It's obviously not going to happen. This is just a nice little motivation for Gohan, to truly see what he's capable of. And he's serious. If Gohan does make Vegeta bleed, he's going back home. Gohan tries to attack Vegeta. He doesn't even really know how to fight right now. Gohan tries punching and kicking Vegeta, with no sort of rhythm or technique. Vegeta feels nothing from it, and even dodges a lot of the attacks effortlessly. He then picks Gohan up and tells him he's going to have to try harder, throwing him back and telling him to do it again. Gohan goes at Vegeta once more, and is pushed back again and again. But at some point, he feels rage bubbling up within him, and something snaps. His power shoots up dramatically, and he launches towards Vegeta, flying through the air. Vegeta blocks all the attacks, but he reads on a scouter. Gohan's power has jumped into the 1,000 range. He even shot beyond 2,000. Of course, this isn't enough to hurt Vegeta, but this kid is only a few years old, and his power surpassed his father at that point. It went even beyond Raditz's power, but clearly, Gohan has no control over this. But it does fascinate Vegeta a lot. They were right to bring Gohan here. He's going to be the strongest Saiyan warrior that ever lived, but it's not their duty to babysit him. Vegeta's going to go off with Nappa again and tells Raditz he's going to have to train up that kid. What? Why him? Well, first of all, Raditz is their subordinate, so he has to listen regardless. But also, it is his nephew after all. He might as well train up his own family, and this base should have enough resources for that. Meanwhile, Vegeta and Nappa will go back on their own missions, but they will periodically check up every few weeks or so. Vegeta could see it now. This kid will be the Super Saiyan, and they'll train him to be loyal. They'll train him to defeat Frieza. Soon his Saiyan blood will take over. Of course, Gohan doesn't see it that way. That's not going to happen. He'll find a way to get home, but this is an opportunity for him. The idea of him growing stronger is actually good. If he gets strong enough to defeat the rest of the Saiyans, he could use that to get home. Actually, that's perfect. They'll make him stronger, and then he'll just rebel against them. And in the time that they're training, maybe he could figure out how to work the spaceships. It's a huge task, but that way he can get back home. It's a simple plan, but it's effective. Although, it might be tough for a kid like Gohan. But he's motivated to train, not to grow stronger for them, but for himself. He'll have to fight his way out of here. It's the only way to get back home. He wants to wait for Goku to save him too. He knows he's probably out there somewhere. And strangely enough, just as he's thinking about this, he hears a voice in his head talking to him. It's a pretty friendly voice too, with the man introducing himself as King Kai. He's glad to see Gohan's okay, and he says that he's actually a friend of Goku's. Well, they haven't actually met just yet, but they are friends. And he tells Gohan not to worry. Goku is trying to work to get to him. It could take a few weeks, it could take a few years. Probably the latter. But he tells Gohan to not give up hope. Goku will be able to find him, and King Kai's gonna help. But in the meantime, Gohan has to protect himself, grow stronger. And whatever he does, don't give in to those Saiyans. He'll make it back home and back to his normal life, one way or another. And this is reassuring for Gohan. He doesn't know who King Kai is, but thanks him for intervening. If he is talking directly to him in his brain, this definitely can't be some sort of fake out. It has to actually be some sort of godly figure, which blows his mind and also makes him happy. He will make it back home. It's just a matter of time. Raditz then comes back to Gohan and tells him it's time to start their training. More bonding with his uncle. Raditz says first they need to get him out of that stupid outfit. He grabs onto Gohan's hat, throwing it away, with the Dragon Ball also being lost. Gohan then starts wearing armor just like Raditz's, with Raditz admiring it too. Now he's looking like a real Saiyan warrior, and unlike his weakling father, Gohan still has his tail. He's definitely going to make them all proud. As Raditz gets ready to train up his nephew, this is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part, and what's going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more parts of this series, or if you just want to help out the channel because it really does help. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.